Okay, let's talk about the thumb's forward grip. So thumb's forward grip, we're going to talk about that, but first we're going to make sure all these weapons are clear. Here's a full-size Glock 20. Nothing in the chamber, nothing in the mag. Here is a Smith & Wesson SD40VE. Nothing in the chamber, nothing in the mag well, nothing in the magazine. And the rest I probably won't have to repeat myself, but we'll just check. Okay. And then I also have a revolver here. So hang with me for a second. We're going to talk about the thumb's forward grip. Here's the revolver. This is cleared too. So all these weapons have been cleared. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you about the thumb's forward grip and the way I do it. So here we have a Glock 20. They're called handguns for a reason, because it's a handgun, not hands gun. It's not a hands gun, it's a handgun, which means one-handed operation. So when you come out of the holster, you have a very strong grip like this, where the right thumb is pushing down on the middle finger, and you have a really good strong grasp of the firearm. So this here is a good combat grip right here. Now what they say is the reason why you go like this and you put your thumb here is because they say that this keeps the gun from shooting this way. It keeps you from jerking the trigger or the gun or whatever, moving it this way. But the thing they have to understand about this is that this thumb's forward grip here, when you're coming out of the holster, notice that you change your grip now. So now you've got a grip that looks like this, and then you have to have the other half to complete it rather than just going like this. So my method is like this, and then using the left hand just to support the weapon as if you were just going to fire it single-handedly. So it's like that. See how fast that is? Now if you do something like this, then you're always having to find that puzzle piece right there. You see that? So if something should happen where your left hand has to do something, now look at my grip. My grip is broken. So I'm going to leave you guys a description, and a guy named Nur Mammon, Israeli IDF forces, and I'm going to show you the reason in that video, if you watch it, why that this grip right here is not a good combat grip at all. Because things happen in a gunfight so fast that if you're pulling out of your holster like this, if you're close quarters, your gun isn't really held like it should be held. It should be held like this, so that if you fight with your gun and you have to hit something with your gun, you already got a good grasp on the gun, rather than like this. So rather than going like this, finding two pieces of the puzzle and trying to struggle to get it adjusted with your right thumb down on your left thumb, okay? Rather than doing something like that, why not just have a full grip as if you were going to singly shoot it like this? And then just go like this. See how fast that is? So the myth that they're saying is that if you go like this, okay, if you don't go like this, that the gun is going to go like this because you don't have your finger along the slide here. But that's just not true, because what you're doing is your left thumb covering up your right keeps it from going this direction. So if you have it like this, where you're trying to fit the puzzle in, of course it's not going to go like that either, because you're touching part of the slide or down here on the frame. But the thing is that it doesn't necessarily mean that if you don't go like this and you use this method, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to go like that now. You're not going to do that because you have full support. And notice how I can punch out now without trying to put the piece of the puzzle together. I can punch out single-handedly and fire the gun single-handedly, or I could join my left hand, and it's all one fluid motion, and there's no disturbance there. There's no disturbance, okay? And it's different than competition shooting. We're talking about combat shooting here, saving your life and just having maybe one or two enemies or threats that you have to take care of. We're not talking about shooting all day long, where somebody might want to stabilize a gun like this with their thumb right here and shoot, and stuff like that. We're talking about self-defense and combat. We're talking about the stuff that the Israelis have to face every single day, and they have to have one uniform grip for all firearms that's going to work, because you might not be fighting with your firearm. You might run out of ammunition for yours, and you might grab another gun that's on the ground. You might be fighting with a different weapon, and I'm going to show you all of them right here, the differences. So going like this, you're already breaking your grip out of the holster, trying to meet up with this hand now, trying to fit that perfect piece of the puzzle, because every time you come out of the holster, it's never the same. Your finger's up here, it's here. It's never, I can guarantee you, if you took a caliper on this thumb and this thumb right here trying to come together, I bet you it would be different every single time you came out of the holster. And some way like this, like I was talking about, where your right thumb is on your middle finger, it's always the same every time you come out of the holster. Because what you're doing is you're simulating that you're only going to have one hand in a fight, and this hand's going to be doing something else. So when I come out of the holster, I have this grip. This grip never changes, even with the second hand. It's the same with the first hand, and it's the same with the support hand right here, the left. So if my left is here, what I'm going to do is these three fingers naturally fit right here. And then I can just come down and I can squeeze right here and clamp with this side over here. And I've got a perfect C-clamp on the firearm. Now, some pistols, you'll have to lay down the thumb here or a little bit here. But if you just have thumbs forward, left over right like this, you're always going to have clearance so that when you pull the trigger, that none of these fingers are going to get in the way. So notice that the right thumb is tucked down on the middle finger here. This is always the way it should be. So watch what I do here. See, my grip never changes on the right hand. It's always the same. Now watch when I do it like this, when I put the right thumb over the left. See that? Now I have to do this puzzle fitting thing. And though it works, it's not always going to line up exactly the same thing every time, especially with speed. It's not going to line up always the same way. So that's why a grip like this is much better, because it accomplishes several things. Close quarters combat. If you have to fight, you got a good strong grip, a good single hand grip right here. If you have to fight where you can't use this hand, you have to grab somebody or move somebody away, and you need this hand, well then you already have a good grip. Now if you need support when you're shooting, you just come like this. You don't have to fumble around trying to find a fit like this. And the thing is that while you're coming up out of the holster like this, trying to fit that puzzle, notice that somebody could grab your gun and they can twist it out of your hand. Why? Because you broke your right hand grip. You always want your right hand grip to be the same way every single time. You do not move your right hand grip. You want it cemented and glued, whatever, super glued, whatever you want to say. It's got to be immovable through your shooting, no matter what you're doing, whether you're on the range, whether you're defense shooting or competition shooting or whatever. You always want to make sure that that grip never changes. So you're going like this, okay? So if the left hand doesn't meet the right, you still have a good grip for a single hand grip. But if you're doing this thing, you're breaking your grip to allow the other grip to come in. And during that course in close quarters, notice that the gun can be flipped out, it can be knocked around because you're struggling to go like this. in an adrenaline situation, somebody's close to you and stuff like that, it's much more difficult to do something like this. It's not a strong combat grip. This is a strong combat grip. Because if I was using this grip here, I can't fight with an empty gun like that. If I run out of ammunition, I can't conk somebody over the head like this. The gun's going to come out if I can't reach for that second mag. So, or if I have to grab somebody by the hand and get them to safety, look at how my grip is. I'm going like this because I'm trying to get the left hand in like that. Why not have the same grip every single time? When the gun comes out of the holster until it returns, you do not break this grip at all. It's always going to be like this. The only thing is that your finger is going to be in the trigger guard because you're going to pull the trigger, to shoot or defend yourself. So I'm going to show you a variety of guns here. I'm going to show you everything from full-size duty, which this is. This is a Glock 20 Gen 4 10 millimeter. I'm going to show you this, and I'm going to show you all the different types of guns, from big to smallest, how this works here. So I'm going to do it both ways. I'm going to do it this way, which I don't believe in. Okay, now watch me. Okay, see that? It looks like it's the same spot every single time, but it's not. I guarantee you, even a competition shooter, I don't care how advanced of a shooter you are, if I took a caliper and I measured the distance right in here, it would always be the same every time you joined. There's less distance like this. There's less change. See that? It's the same every single time. And like I'm saying, the right thumb is always on the middle finger and the left thumb comes over it or it rides it like this. There's several ways you can do it. As long as that right thumb is always tucked down, you can do a flag-like thing like this, you can do this, or you can do this. But it's still strong because I'm crushing with both of these hands, see? So the gun isn't going to go like this, like they say, if you're not going like this. So once again, I'm going to do it this way. Okay, thumbs forward grip. This is the right over the left. Right over left, okay? Right over left. Okay, now let's do it 3 times my way. This is left over right. Left over right. Left over right. Left over right. And notice if I don't have this hand to use, that I still have a proper grip. That my grip isn't going to be like this, so the gun can't get knocked out of my hand. It's always going to be like this. So 1, 2, 3. Let's say I couldn't join my hand. My grip is strong. I'm ready to go. Let's say I couldn't join my hand, but I wanted to. I come in like this, and all of a sudden I've got to grab a person, or I've got to grab somebody's arm or something like that. Look at where my thumb is. I broke my grip. See what I mean? Okay, so once again, I'm going to do it three times. I'm going to go right over left thumb, right thumb over left thumb, and then left thumb over right thumb. Okay, so here we go. Here's the right thumb over the left. Thumbs forward grip, okay? Okay, now here's the way I like to do it. Good, strong, sturdy grip, okay? 3, okay. So we're done with the Glock 20. Let's do it with the compact. And it's just basically a smaller gun. This is a Smith & Wesson SD40 VE. So what we're going to do is the same thing. We're going to take the right thumb over the left and show you what it looks like here. Okay. 1, 2, 3. And like this. 1, 2, 3. Once again, if this hand isn't free, notice my grip. I got a nice strong grip on the gun. And this grip that I'm showing you works with every single gun. And I'll show you a little later here. The grip that I use works for every single gun. The Israeli, it's actually the Israeli type of grip. Okay, so here we go. Here's the Taurus G2C 9mm. And notice that little pad right there. That's where you put your thumb. Okay, you see that? Okay, now this way, thumb down. You could still pull the trigger so it's not impeding anything by doing this. Okay, so there's that. Okay, now this is where you can really see it, where it's wrong. The thumb's forward grip with the right thumb over the left with this Ruger LCP. You can really see it with this one. Okay. Notice that my fingers could get out in front of the muzzle. And it's much harder to go like this out of the draw, because now you have to join two hands with the little gun rather than just having it like this. If you just have it like this, and you have plenty of room for your finger to move, because this finger is pressed down on the middle finger, your right thumb, and then your pinky's tucked under the magazine. The magazine ain't going to release as long as your pinky's under here. When you do a mag change, you just go like that. You just take two fingers and go like that. You practice though. So once again, I'm going to show you the right thumb over the left. 1, 2, 3. So you have this puzzle thing you have to do. And that's why it's not very efficient at all, especially in an emergency. So let me show you my way, or the Israeli method. The link I'm going to give you in the description of another guy that's been having this grip, the same grip I've had for decades. Same thing with an LCP. It's a small gun, okay? If I'm doing something with this hand, notice I have a strong grip on the gun, so it's not going anywhere. I have a very strong grip. But if I'm like this, you could move that gun around. You can't move it around if you have a strong single hand grip on it. Remember, it's a hand gun. It's not a hands gun. Handguns were meant for very close range and for using one hand, not two hands. The only reason why we use our support hand, our left hand or whatever to come over, is because of accuracy and getting better shot placement. But everything's up close and personal. Most of the defense shootings that happen and law enforcement are always close quarters, where a person has only got one hand on the gun usually. There might be times when they get their grip and stuff like that, but I'm just saying that sometimes you don't have time to come out like this and do this pretty little puzzle, rather than just having a good one-handed grip. You could use this grip to fight, even if you don't have your left hand, but you can't use this grip to fight. So your muscle memory is getting the wrong teaching here, going like this. But this grip, the left over the right thumb, is going to work for every single handgun. So I'll show you with the revolver here too. So this revolver has been cleared. So what I'm going to do is show you with the revolver here. Okay, let's do the same thing. Okay, they're always saying this, thumbs forward grip like this, right? Look at that. Look at that. You're struggling. You're trying to get a good fit there. But notice that the revolver, it's the same as the semi-autos of every size. It's the same. I can put my left thumb over my right, and it's not going to get in the way of my trigger finger. But if I go like this, notice that this thumb is getting close to the forcing cone, which could be burnt from the forcing cone. So every single handgun, it doesn't matter which size I pick up, including a revolver. Notice, here's the revolver. See that? It fits right in there, okay? And some people say, well, you got to get high up on the bore axis. I know that. I know you got to get high up. That's why you grip really hard. And your left thumb is pushing down like this. Or on revolvers, a lot of times you can take your left thumb and put it up on the right thumb like that. But no matter what you do, it's like this. It's not like this. Okay, people, it's not like that. It doesn't work for all the handguns doing it like this. You want one grip for every single gun. This is the grip right here. Notice that if I grab a revolver, okay, it works with the revolver. Notice if I grab the Ruger LCP, okay, notice the left thumb over the right, works every time, fast. See that? Works every time. Combat, right here. No fumbling around. If I need to use the Ruger LCP with one hand, I can. So it works with a micro. Let's do a subcompact. Okay, subcompact, same thing. Right thumb down on the middle finger. Okay, watch this. Same thing. If I had to use this hand, notice my grip is strong. I don't have that thumb up, that opening. So it doesn't matter that you've been shooting that way for 10, 20 years, or if you're a competition shooter or police officer or whatever you are, there's no way you can say that matching something like this, that you're going to be in the same position every time. You're not. You're not, because you're going to be switching. You're going to be constantly going like this. See? You'll be constantly going like this. When this grip should never change because there's no movement now. There's never going to be any movement in this hand. You're just going like this. You see that? So I have to fight with this pistol. If I ever have to fight with this pistol with one hand, I'm already ready to go. But if I'm like this, from muscle memory, trying to join the left to the right, now I've broken my grip. And the number one rule is never, on a pistol that you're using for self-defense or combat, number one rule is you never break your grip. You always have the same combat grip on the firearm, no matter what. So the left comes like this, see? And this works with the 1911 also, a 1911 45 ACP. Okay, so it works for that one. So we got a micro, we have a subcompact, we have a compact, we got a full-size duty gun right here. Notice you're like this, see? But if you're like this heavy gun right here, this heavy gun at close quarters, once again, if I have my left hand is busy doing something, now I broke my grip, okay? You don't want to break your grip at all. So you're holding it like this, you see that? But if you're like this, notice that the puzzle is going to fit different every time. Notice that there's no real place to put my thumb. Now, some guys will lightly ride the slide with their thumb like this. And once again, they'll say that, well, what that does is it keeps the gun from going this direction. Well, that might be true, but so does this way. This keeps the gun from going this direction too, because what you're doing is it's like a nutcracker. Like holiday season, you know, you got them nutcrackers to crack walnuts and stuff. What you're doing is both hands are going like this. See that? So this way works just fine. It's not going to pull your gun that direction. If your gun's going this direction, you're doing something wrong. Because notice that my left thumb is strongly over the right thumb. So people have been teaching to do this, the right over the left thumb, for decades and decades. But what you have to do is you have to start doing the left thumb over the right thumb from now on, so that your gun is always ready no matter what. Whether you're close quarters and this hand has to do something else, you're ready because you have that good combat grip. Or let's say that you're fighting somebody and this hand is tied up. If you're like this, are you going to be able to fight with this gun and hit and push and stuff? No, you won't be able to fight as well, because your muscle memory is thinking about joining this hand with this hand. Your right hand isn't going to wait for your left hand in an emergency, okay? They're not going to wait for each other because your adrenaline's pumping. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to punch out, and you're not even going to meet this hand with this hand. There's a possibility in close quarters combat that can happen. But notice that if I have my right thumb down on my middle finger, that I have a very, very powerful, strong grip. No matter what people say about accuracy and all that other crap, just forget about it. The most important thing is to grasp your firearm and have a really strong hold of the firearm so that you can use it for self-defense. In a close quarters situation, you have to make sure that you retain this firearm and that somebody doesn't take it out of your hand, okay? When you're doing this crap right here, you're going to have problems. And we already know from law enforcement that gun grabs have been done like that, where a guy's coming out of his holster and he's trying to do something like this, and he loosens up his grip right here, trying to go like this, and then somebody grabs the gun. See? But you're not going to be able to grab my gun when I pull it out of the holster when my thumb is on my middle finger and I have a very strong one-handed grip. You're not going to be able to pull this away from me. And if I need the support hand, which I might not have time for, if I need the support hand, the left hand, I can just simply go like this. I can simply go like this. And it doesn't matter exactly where your thumb is, okay? Because it's these three fingers and the palm of your hand that are clamping down like that nutcracker. So you could even be like this if you want. You know what I mean? But the whole key here is your right hand, the thumb must always be on the middle finger to get that good, strong combat grip. Not like that, okay? And then you just put your fingers right here and you're all set to go. So once again, this method doesn't work with a lot of guns, okay? It doesn't work with a lot of guns, but this method I'm going to run you through one more time. This method right here works. Okay, my thumb is down on my middle finger. Okay, watch this. I'll do it 3 times with each firearm. Full-size duty gun, strong grip, ready to go, okay? Compact firearm, okay? There's no puzzle, there's no changing. The grip is always the same. No matter what firearm you grab, the grip never changes. It's always the same good combat grip. Good combat grip on a subcompact. See that? Nothing ever changes. Nothing ever changes. You always have the same right hand grip. If I have to use this hand now, look at my grip. It's not like this. It's like this. So it's always this way. Subcompact, okay? Micro. Especially a micro, you want to have a very, very strong grip. These are harder to shoot. These are harder to shoot, so it's important that you really have a good grasp on the weapon so that it stays stable, so you can fight with this weapon. You don't want to be doing this crap right here, okay? That's sloppy. That's not going to cut it, okay? Somebody's going to knock the gun out of your hand, or you're going to shoot it inaccurately. Okay, so there's the micro. And here's the revolver. Okay, watch again, the revolver. See that? Once again, if I'm like this and this, the forcing code could injure my finger by burning it. Okay? I might stop the cylinder from turning. There's a lot of things that could happen. There's nowhere to put this thumb right here. So once again, the right thumb over the middle finger and the left thumb, if anything, it's a left over right thumb's forward grip. It's not a right thumb over a left thumb forwards grip. It's a left thumb over a right thumb forward, thumb's forward grip. See? So it's kind of a tongue twister. I might have said something tongue twisted, but basically what I'm saying is that left over right, not right over left. Not right over left, left over right. Thumbs forward grip, or no, thumbs forward. You always want the left thumb over the right. Thumbs forward grip. See that? So I demonstrated all firearms, including a revolver, a micro pistol, a compact, and any type you can think of here. And it's always going to work where you have the left thumb over the right, rather than having that right thumb sticking up in the air, breaking your good grip like this. This is not a grip. This is when you're hitchhiking or thumbing for a ride or something, or thumbing somebody up, okay? This isn't it right here. This is not a strong grip. This is a strong grip. See that? That is a strong grip, not this. This. So that's a good fighting grip. It's almost like you have a fist. It's almost like your firearm is your fist. So let's say if you were out of ammunition If I was out of ammunition, I wouldn't be fighting like this. I would be fighting like this. I could punch like this. I could jab that gun, you know, if I had a revolver, I could jab that gun into the gut and fire. But if I had it like this, it's unstable. So that's why you never want to change your right hand grip. You always want your right hand down on your middle finger, and then, if anything, that left thumb over the right. So left over right thumb. Left over right thumb, thumb's grip. Left over right, left over right. Okay? But anyway, thank you for watching the video.